All right, we are live, and I'm trying to get the video. There it is. All righty, good afternoon, Superkickin with Stephen fans. Your host here, Stephen A. 1181, right here with my friend Greg. That way, there we go. I always get confused on this. The Greg one over there. We are here live. Well, I'm here live, and I'll show the great people really quick if I can switch this out. And I probably should have done this beforehand. So here live at some pro wrestling event here in Indiana, Greenfield, Indiana. So we're going to be checking this out later and going live with some commentary by yours truly. So Greg, how are you doing today? Your sons are rocking it.
Yes, sir. We're in the finals, man. We closed out the Clippers, and now we get to sit at home and watch the Bucks and the Hawks beat each other up for the chance to come in second in the finals. So I ride the high of the hog right now, man.
And I think they have game 6 tonight. Yeah,
yep,
game 6 tonight.
8:30. Milwaukee's up 3-2. And actually, I'm rooting for Milwaukee now just because they burned themselves out with so many games, and still no Giannis. So more games that they play with no Giannis. It's a good thing. Plus, when he comes back, he's going to be compromised anyway. So I don't see how this does not go in Suns' favor as long as they show up to play. But, yeah, we're definitely in the driver's seat right now. It's awesome.
There we go. We got our friend Brittany showing up. Thank you, Brittany. What's going on? Definitely join the conversation if you like. We'll give her a little shout out. Brittany Carreno. Sorry if I said that wrong, but so there in the ladies' man.
Hey, we all here for the ladies. You know that.
Yeah. Well, my Pacers got our old guy back, Rick Carlisle, and a couple. They hired Ronald Norred, who's from Butler, so it's kind of cool to see. And then Lloyd Pierce, who was the ex-Hawks coach. So kind of an interesting. Okay. Yeah. So we got rid of McMillan, but we'll bring in the other Hawks coach for assistant coach. But anyway, so we'll talk more about my Pacers as the days go on. But anyways, so we're going to go here. We're going to just kind of wing it because I was prepared as usual. So let's talk about Raw. Some of the big things I think we saw. Greg, let's start with Dewdrop picking up another win over Asuka, your girl. Any thoughts on Piper picking up a win? I guess they're trying to push her more quickly than we thought. It feels like they're going to turn her against Eva Marie. Like I said, it probably. Oh, there we go. She's giving me Carino. Got it. Carino. We got it. All right. Thanks, Brittany, for that bit of advice. So Greg, what do we think about Dewdrop picking up a win over your girl, Asuka?
Dude, I hate it so much.
but she needs it, right? I mean,
yeah, I know, but
I know you love Asuka.
They could have put. That's right. They could have put anybody in the roster in that match, and she goes and squashes Asuka. I mean, come on now.
But doesn't this say that they believe in her as well?
It does. It does, and I think it's just a 2-week thing. 2 more weeks, they'll be back on the road in front of live crowds, and this is the gap filler. I get it, and I think she's going to get a big pop when she does finally turn on Eva, and they're saving that for that 2 weeks in front of the live crowd, and trying to give her some momentum by having her pin Asuka. So I get it, but there's so many women on the roster that have had the championship. Why her? I mean, they're not doing
And
Asuka any
remember what
favors.
we said too. Right now, the women are pretty slim pickings, so I feel like if you want to build her up, you got to put her over on Asuka. I mean, I know it's at the expense of Asuka, and I feel like Asuka's kind of in that gatekeeper role. And because that, like you said,
Yeah,
at any time, I feel like you could throw in her title picture. You could throw in, you could have her pick up a win over Charlotte, which is going to be
right.
interesting. I guess they said Charlotte's providing a medical update, so I hope that doesn't mean she's prego. Well, I guess it could be good if she's prego because then she might be out for some time. But that would really ruin the Rhea Ripley match. So we'll see come this Monday what the fallout is for Charlotte. The other thing I think was big was Drew McIntyre pick up the win. We had Matt Riddle in there for Orton. I guess they were playing off like Randy Orton wasn't going to be there, and you had Riddle win the Battle Royal, and then he slides in there. I thought they might just pull the Matt Riddle picks up the win for Orton, but we're going to go the opposite and kind of see. I think we all saw Drew winning that match and kind of getting in this, Money in the Bank match because he needs to. So, any thoughts on Drew McIntyre picking up that win there?
Yeah, it was. I like the way they did the whole thing with Riddle and with McIntyre picking up the win, just because it was a little outside the box for them. So they're going so lazy storytelling. Love the whole bit with Riddle going, Randy's not here, so I'm Randy, and taking up the Orton persona, and then killing it in the Battle Royal, and then having a really good match with McIntyre. I was really impressed by it, and it makes sense that McIntyre wins. One, because Riddle's already in the match, and McIntyre can stay in the picture without being directly in the picture by getting into this match and potentially getting the Money in the Bank briefcase. So you can kind of wait and see if Lashley's going to lose, or if maybe Pierce goes over and saying, well, the briefcase trumps the stipulation. So it's kind of a way out for McIntyre if they decide to go that route.
And that's what I think is interesting. Everybody's saying Drew shouldn't win it. And I think that is the bigger story. If he's in the match and he doesn't win, I think you still have him as the, trying to get back to that title picture. So, yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what they do with Drew. I know we probably have some Drew burnout, but I think getting back to live crowds, he's going to get a good reaction. And, of course, we all know WWE is all about the reaction. So, and I feel like, there is some of the crowd that, want him to go away or, go somewhere else. But right now, I think he needs to be in that title picture for the time being. I was trying to think of what else was big. I did like the Kofi Kingston promo.
Yeah.
I thought that was really strong. And then laying out MVP. And now we're going to get a tag match. Lashley, MVP against Kofi and Xavier Woods back. So that'll be interesting to see how MVP is. I mean, he's been out, 6, 7 months. Feels like a lot more, but, he's been out for all that time, and we'll kind of see him back in the ring. Any thoughts of looking ahead to that tag team match, Greg, for that Monday night?
Well, look forward to the tag match, giving Kofi some steam. Like I said last week, he's going to be that bridge guy back in the live crowds, and something I wasn't expecting. Watching that promo that he delivered at the beginning of the show, you start that little bug in the back of your mind. Can Kofi take down Lashley? And that promo was powerful. It made you think for a minute, and you made you believe for a minute. Kofi Mania Part 2 may be happening. And if they did that, we wouldn't hate it. It would be a big moment, a feel-good moment, in front of the live crowds again. And, it gets springboard a bunch of things with Kofi as the centerpiece. Do I think that's really going to happen? No. Is it possible? Is it realistically possible more than McIntyre or more than the other guys who are on the roster right now? Yes. So I like this matchup, and they could go either way, and it would be legit. And we buy it and we ride that ride until we see where it stops next. So that promo did something for me. It made me believe. So I was really impressed with that.
And I don't know if we need to talk about this. Maybe we'll wait till after. But I'm hearing the reports for Lashley at SummerSlam is Oldberg.
No,
I mean Goldberg. Sorry, I know. Now here's the thing: if that happens, Lashley should squash him. I mean, it shouldn't even be. And I guess the thing is, they're probably not getting Lesnar. So if you throw Goldberg in there, and because you're probably going to do Roman and somebody in the main event, and that could be Roman and Cena. So I think if you throw Goldberg out there against Lashley, it needs to be a couple spears and jackhammers and Goldberg because he's still under contract, and I think he gets 2 matches a year. So yeah, that's the report is we're going to get Goldberg and Lashley.
Oh, that would be brutal.
I don't even know if I would have won. Go ahead.
I got tired of Goldberg at the end of his WCW run, and now the guy can't go more than 5 minutes. I'm sure he's making a fat amount of cash for that 5 minutes, but
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if Goldberg's prime if we wanted to see Lashley and Goldberg. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, but yeah. So, anyways, like we said, I guess they couldn't back the track up to. They couldn't get up to Canada for Lesnar. But yeah, like I said, if it's Goldberg and Lashley, it is what it is, and we'll just kind of deal with it.
That'll be the first title match on the card, so we can get it out the way.
Yeah, I think you should have.
7 minutes and out.
Open the match, open the night of SummerSlam in Vegas, and give Lashley a strong win, and just kind of move ahead. So, trying to think, was there anything else from Raw that really caught your eye?
We saw the continuation of the Nikki, the friend that gave Nikki the last name.
Yes,
Ash, almost
superhero. Ash. I think she should just go by that, Ash. I don't think she needs a Nikki part. I know I'm weird like that, but I think you just you have the pseudonym Ash. I think that sounds kind of cool. I mean, maybe. No. And what's really funny is I thought she was saying ass, ASS. So I was like, wait, because she's got that accent, and I was like, well, wow, they're really ribbing her. But yeah, Nikki Ash, we'll see. I mean, she's obviously loving it, and she's going hard into it. But yeah, it's interesting. So.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her because I'm giving it an open mind and a few more weeks to see what they do with it.
And what will the crowd react to it?
Right. I think it's going to go over like gangbusters in front of the crowd just because it's going to elicit a response. Mm-hmm. Are they laughing at her or are they laughing with her? It doesn't matter as long as they're responding. So I think it's really going to go over.
Especially if we could get some segment with like the Hurricane and Molly Holly, like almost giving their blessing, kind of like Foley's done with the Hell in a Cell type stuff. Because, it makes the most sense for those two. And I guess I saw that Nikki Cross did talk to Hurricane Helms about it. And, of course, he gave his blessing because, he knows what it's all about. So I thought that was interesting. That's always nice when they talk before they roll with the gimmick. So I'm trying to think what else we saw. I think that's like the big stuff, right?
Yeah, that was those were the main things.
We can go into SmackDown because SmackDown had all about Edge and Jimmy Uso this time. And Edge, I really loved Edge's promo with the picture and zooming in. I mean, when Edge is on, he's on. So I thought that was a really strong promo, and then the end of the night, I love the piece of metal from the chair in the same regard, and no Roman to save him. And Roman didn't save him last week either, which is funny because we have Jimmy saying he's all in, but then now you have Roman almost like, I don't need you. So what are we thinking on all that, the beginning and end of the night there for Edge and all of his stuff with the Jimmy Uso this time?
It was good stuff. Edge made his point, crystal clear. What they were doing with the camera work and the zooming in on the eyes was epic stuff. And, long-term storytelling, because, that still from weeks ago and managed to weave that in. And then, duplicated at the end of the night with Jimmy. So I get where Edge is coming from. He's not Mr. Nice Guy Edge, and he's going to be going all out. He's going to be maybe cutting a few corners, but taking a by any means necessary approach to beating Roman, and that's what we want to see, because this guy is like super heel, and it's going to take not just your plain old cookie cutter baby face to beat him. You're going to need to have some edge. You're going to need to have some grit, as Edge likes to say. You're going to need to have some killer instinct in you. And it showed in both that beginning and ending segment of the night. So, it makes you buy in. So when that match happens, you have to be glued.
I mean, it's like the Kofi Kingston, Kofi's like just really making it believable. And Edge has really stepped up. And I think this will make the people want to see Edge and Roman. Now it'll be interesting because this is going to be at Money in the Bank with the live crowd. And I can kind of see it going both ways, like the crowd just ebbing and flowing, almost like the Rock Hogan type stuff where, people will try to go on Edge's side and then maybe go against Roman's side just because they want to see Roman as the heel. So it's almost like you're cheering because you're doing it. But I'm really going to that's the crowd reaction I want to see, as far as that's concerned. So, what else we had? We had, what was I going to bring up? See, this is why I always write my notes down. The qualifying match. Kevin Owens wins the match. Obviously, sporting my Kevin Owens shirt here.
Nice.
Really good last man standing match for what it is. I still think Sami Zayn gets in the Money in the Bank match. Do you believe that as well, Greg?
Yeah, Sami is money. And is like the other guys, when he is on and feeling his storyline, you can't get any better. That match was a banger. I really enjoyed watching that match. They gave it enough time to let it breathe, let these guys do what they do. And you can't have a bad match with these two. And this was just another example of it. So Kevin gets in, but it would be a injustice to not include Sami, because they're going to make the match better. A couple extra bumps put in there. So I'm excited for it. The Money in the Bank is shaping up really nice. But the participants involved right now.
And of course, the big news, I almost forgot about this, but I shouldn't have. Sonya Deville comes out, announces the next participant, because, apparently on SmackDown, you don't have to qualify. You can just get announced, which is funny to me. Zelina Vega is back. I did not see her back on Raw or SmackDown. I saw her back in NXT, and I don't think I saw her wrestling. And she, now she was on her back. She lost last night. I don't think that's a big deal, honestly, because they still announced her in the match. And, they're kind of building her up. I mean, announcing her in the match when she hasn't even had a match. And then you're still building Liv Morgan, who, I'm going to say Liv Morgan probably gets in that SmackDown before the Money in the Bank, because that's the first live crowd show back, after WrestleMania. So why not have the crowd behind it? I mean, it'd almost be probably worth it, maybe doing it at the end of the night too. And you leave that kind of lasting image of it. So I still think Liv Morgan gets in there. I did not see Zelina Vega getting in at all. So Greg, thoughts on Zelina Vega back in wrestling?
Yeah, that was my Sheila Broflowski moment right there. What?
Hmm.
I, and the last time we saw Zelina, she was rolling with Andrade and Garza, and she wasn't doing anything in the ring. So here's Sonya talk her of her accomplishments. Like she barely has any accomplishments, at least not in the WWE
Not in
ring. She's had
WWE, yeah.
she's had a couple matches here and there, but nothing to remember. And so the fact that she was included in the match, I was like, on what grounds? So I fully expected her to name Liv Morgan into the match just off the basis that she beat Carmella twice. So that was a huge surprise, and I agree. Eventually, she's going to name Liv Morgan as the final entrant um, into the match. But yeah, I was expecting to see Zelina turn up in AEW next to her husband. So what does this mean for Alistair? Are they redoing his deal, or
That's a
is he going to go down the NXT? Because they have to talk to each other about before they decide to do career wise, and you think they want to stay together. So as far as being on the same company, so the fact that Selena's back in WWE, I think it's going to lead to Alistair turning back up in WWE, whether it's in NXT or maybe he gets drafted after his contracts work out behind the scenes. But I think that says a lot without very subtly.
Now I do wonder if he wants to try to do his own thing, and maybe in a year or two, like I guess depends on what her deal is. I could see them, I mean, other couples have had to do different companies, and she was let go before him. So, Dan's in the chat. He said, "Go Suns."
Yes,
There
sir.
we go. Yeah,
Love
so
it.
I definitely, I, I see Alistair gone for a little bit of time. Maybe some short run, at least through the end of the year. And then I wonder, like you said, I could see him showing back up maybe next year, but I kind of feel like he does want to re-find himself and all that, almost give him a bigger name coming back. So they have to sign him back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I can
Drew,
see
like
him,
Drew
going
McIntyre.
off disappearing off the radar for a while, maybe doing some indies, maybe doing like an ROH thing, and then he's a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So that was the big things I thought on SmackDown wise. Is there anything
The
else?
the uh, the match with Bianca and
Yeah, sorry.
Bailey.
I Quit match. So what do we think about I Quit match for Bianca Belair and Bailey? Does that mean Bailey might go to Raw? So then I think she almost had to separate her from Bianca at this point. So I
Yeah,
wonder if
absolutely.
Bailey could, and Bailey would be a good, you know, bit for Raw because like we keep saying, Raw's running short on challengers. And I don't think
Mhm.
we've seen Bailey and Rhea Ripley. So that could be something. And especially if you have Becky coming back, you have Becky on SmackDown. So you almost switch, those two. Because I would think Becky and Seth are going to be together. And I feel like we're getting closer to Becky coming back. So, I wonder what that means for Bailey afterwards.
Yeah, I was, expecting some, whack stipulation. It's like, well, we're past Hell in a Cell season, so we know it's not going to be that. Um, and they could have went any number of ways, but the I Quit match was the last thing I expected to hear. So
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
she brought that up, I was like, oh, okay, I'm in for this match. And just like that, they've catapulted themselves up to co-headliner status. The match right before Roman and Edge, and like I said, Lashley and whoever he's fighting is going to end up opening the night. But this match is big enough now that they're going to be, second to last before the night because it's going to be worthy of that spot. Um, so much they could do with that. These two work great together, and the tricks they could pull. Um, and Bailey's not going to get a cheap pin by tying Bianca's hair to the ring ropes. It's going to be a different type of match this time. So I'm excited to see what they can do, and it's going to be a great match. So as soon as I quit on it, I'm buying in 100%. Afterwards, because we figure Bianca's going to retain, move Bailey over, and freshen up some of these rivalries. Bailey Asuka, Bailey Charlotte, Bailey Rhea. So she's got a world of options to work with. So she's been so moneyed like this whole past year. It's time to switch it up for her, give us some new stuff.
Exactly. So yeah, I think those are the big stories that we caught, and I think a change of place for Bailey, or at least maybe at the draft time, maybe in the next month or so, and then at draft time she could end up switching. But I think she's done all she can on SmackDown. It's like you almost need that change of pace, and then she can also change her character up a little bit based on Raw. So I'm going to be curious what she does there. I think is that all.
What do you think about what do you think of new Otis?
Clean. I think new Otis looks fine. I mean, he's short, we talked about shaving the head or shortening the hair. I still want to hear how he engages with the audience and kind of talks. We keep having Chad Gable talk for him, but kind of give him a voice. But he was on the Bump, the WWE show, and he did talk. I lost my girlfriend. I lost Money in the Bank. I lost this, and I mean, he had to restart. So, that's the type of stuff we need to hear on SmackDown, because it helps build the story. But when you put it on,
right,
things that you just catch while I'm scrolling through Twitter, it's always hard to follow. So I'm fine with it. What about yourself? Are you good with the new look Otis?
Yeah, I dig it. It's like two different guys. Happy-go-lucky, heavy machinery Otis. We liked him. He was fun and entertaining. But now you get the exact opposite. Clean cut, hair slicked back, looking like a bodyguard for
a killer,
Gotti or something. You believe this look too, because he's a mastodon and he steamrolls people. He's doing that at the expense of my street profits right now.
Which is good, because we know how high the street profits are.
Right. So they're giving him, some good momentum. He's looking really legit, and this is what you need to do when you are going from heel to face to heel. Is switch up your character, switch up your look, and so people will buy it. I had to think back to remember what Otis looked like before. The full beard and the crazy hair, and so they've done a really good job with him. And with Gable, he doesn't need to speak, because as soon as he starts speaking,
that's true.
We're gonna think about heavy machinery Otis and and he can bark it as much as he wants, but you're gonna need somebody who can be eloquent with his words. Yeah, his mouthpiece is Paul Heyman, and that's what Gable's gonna do. All he has to do is look mean and be the brute, and we buy in. So,
and always down the road, you can turn Otis right back face if you have him getting tired of Gable. And now that he's had the killer instinct, it's like he'll be able to take off on his own.
Right.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when they'll pull the trigger on that. But should we get into AEW? I think AEW, the big thing I thought was no coffin match yet, and I kind of forgot we were getting a coffin match between Darby Allin and Ethan Page. Ethan Page is saying, "I want you to not touch me the week before, and then we'll get it." So I love that. Now I'm starting to feel like Ethan Page is getting a bigger deal. Now it seems like I think he's feeling confident with what he's doing as well. I think those first couple weeks and whatever, I don't think he knew what his job was. So now it feels like, now we're getting Ethan Page, like you said, on Impact Wrestling, and the Ethan Page that we all know he can be. So what do you think? And I think the coffin match will be fun because, it's going to be interesting which way they go. Do you write off Darby Allin for a little bit of time? Do you write off Ethan Page? That's the thing. It feels like whoever loses needs to go away for a little bit, because it's a coffin match. But what do we think about this coffin match idea between Darby and Ethan Page?
After hearing the promo that Page shot for it, I like the idea. His reasoning behind wanting to do it, it made sense. The way he laid it out there, he's beating them physically. He's put him in the hospital. He's put him in a body bag. He's, done everything he can think of doing, and he keeps coming back. And so, what greater insult than to put him in a coffin? So, just kind of paraphrasing the best they could there, but it made sense in its own little world there, and it's not too WWE yet. You have those guys who, the darkness, the this, and Darby Allin's one of them. And I get the whole reason behind wanting to push the match back. You want to do it in front of a live crowd, and you also want to give Ethan Page a couple, some more time to, get that heel heat.
Especially
I don't know about you, but
if you do. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't know about you, but I hadn't seen anything Ethan Page had done before coming into AEW. I know he's been on things in Impact or this and stuff overseas, but I didn't know anything about him. But the way they built him up when he appeared at that was it the Casino Battle Royal or something like that?
Yes.
When he debuted, that he was the big deal that came in from outside. So it's giving people like me who don't know anything about him, never seen him in a match before, give him some exposure to TV time, see what he's about, see how he wrestles, and it adds more legitimacy to their match.
I think the most stuff that I saw of him was tag teaming with Josh Alexander and AEW in Impact Wrestling. They were kind of this just professional wrestling team. And then he also did a Karate Man character where he would just have like a pair of karate pants and a headband and kind of, play up. And he did, to write him off, they did a cinematic match of him versus Karate Man. So I guess, he could film both ends and then kind of going at it. So that's kind of what I saw of him. Other than that, I feel like he'd be in WWE okay, though, honestly. I think he can fit in. He seems like a chameleon. He's going to fit in wherever, but, we'll see what we do. The other thing, Young Bucks, Penta, and Eddie Kingston will now do a street fight for the titles. I believe it's going to be next week. But we saw, obviously, Eddie Kingston and Eddie Kingston and Penta win because, obviously, they're going to lose, the street fight. And it keeps building up the Young Bucks with the stashes. Are we going to grow out our stashes like the Young Bucks, Greg?
Hell no. I thought those were fake.
I thought it was fake too.
I was like, I was trying to remember what they looked like the week before. I was like, did they have full mustaches like that before?
No, they didn't.
Last week. So like, where did they get all that facial hair in a week's time?
Well, like Nick has the almost Hulk Hogan one, and then Matt has more of the like porn stash, I'll call it. And then the best was when they gave their little headband to Michael Nakazawa, and then he had a mustache. Right. And then of course we saw Kenny Omega rocking the Triple H like from 2002. That was my least favorite time of Triple H, like with him and Flair, and he just buried everybody. He beat Goldberg. He beat Booker T. He was just, I think that was his least favorite time too. I just never felt like it was believable. But now we got Kenny Omega rocking that whole like. I almost like, man, I could probably grow out something like that, but it would be very thin and wispy. But yeah, I guess all the elite are now all about the the dangly earrings, the no tassels. It's like they're trying everything. And, it's going to be interesting, like we said, in front of a real live crowd on the road. Now, they're at Daly's Place and now they're all done. And we got that, Daly's Place tribute video at the end, which I thought was kind of funny because I'm like, it's not like you guys have been there that long. I don't know if it needed a tribute piece, but so yeah, street fight next week. What else? We don't know who Kenny Omega's next person. Oh no, we do, but we're slowly building that. I think, it's got to be all out. It's got to be Hangman Page, and I love the Dark Order standing up for Hangman. I thought that was a pretty good, solid segment. I want to bring up, how about Andrade? What are we buying about Andrade? Because he keeps saying he has a special announcement, and then he never gets to it. But now he's gonna face Matt Sydal. I don't know. Maybe it's like that. We're just throwing stuff out there and we're seeing what sticks. But are you buying Andrade yet on AEW?
For now, AEW is really bad with these non sequiturs, starting stuff and then not paying it off.
Sorry, somebody's running the ring, so
no worries.
Here, I'll mute myself for a minute.
Or they're starting an angle and then they go somewhere completely different and don't get back to it. Or a guy's doing an interview and somebody cuts off the interview and it just shifts to that thing without the other thing finishing. They've been really bad at doing that lately. And I don't know what to make of Andrade. I know I liked Andrade as a wrestler from his WWE days. I don't know why they're not letting him speak. We know he speaks and understands English. And like you, I hate the pairing with Vicky Guerrero and hope that's going to be, short-lived. But I hope he's going to do something good with, with him coming in. They wouldn't give him this much build for nothing. So expect him to pop up someplace or doing a high-profile angle. This is just kind of his showcase with the Sydal match. But yeah, I'm waiting just like you to see what they're going to do with him.
And what's interesting is he's facing Kenny Omega for the AAA title down in Mexico. So do you just pull the trigger on that and have him show up with the AAA title, so you have another title, kind of showing up in AEW? Because obviously Omega's probably going to have to start losing these titles. It's not doing anything, I don't think, because they never mention, they don't mention anything about the titles. He has he has 4 titles and they don't even talk about it. So it's like, well, what's the point of being a title collector if you're not even going to, and has he even come out with all 4 I know in Impact he comes out with all their titles, but then in AEW, he usually just comes out with the AEW World title. So it's like, I don't really get the point of that idea. So, yeah. And like, I think I would like the Vicky Guerrero stuff if it was consistent. You didn't have, now you had her wrestle with Nia, and I get it because you got the beef with Britt Baker, who's turning face before our eyes, and then Rebel was limping off afterwards. So I hope Rebel's okay, because it looked like she tweaked something, and she was barely putting weight on her leg as she was walked out. There was some fan video of it, but yeah, the Vicky Guerrero pair is fine if you use it consistently, but if you just have Vicky Guerrero introduce them and then now he's on his own talking, like you said, giving a short promo, and with Jim Ross, which is good too because Jim Ross can build him up. But why did you bring Vicky Guerrero in the picture in the first place? Just for that 1 week, essentially. Like, it hasn't done any. I feel like we haven't seen them paired up since.
Yeah, I think they were playing on the Latino angle, which is, unless you're going to really do something legitimately with it, is pointless. But that was my only thinking of why they're doing it, or linking those two together, because otherwise they have nothing in common. So, yeah, and I think when Kenny had the match against Jungle Boy, he came out with all 4 belts.
Okay. And I didn't catch that match, I'll be honest, because that was Saturday night, and I was watching fireworks. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember if he came up that often with it.
Yeah, he hasn't, but
Yes.
for that match he did, and that match was a fantastic match. So when you get a chance, I go
Yes.
back and watch that match. It was a
I
great
need to go back.
match,
Yeah.
and Jungle Boy looked like $1,000,000. And Kenny, there was a couple of distractions popped up in it. The Good Brothers popped up, but it didn't lead to the finish directly. It was still a clean win for Kenny, but such a great match. So I was really impressed by
Did you
both
see
of
who
them.
Jungle Boy, his current partner in real life, is, Greg? It broke the internet the next day. Anna J is his.
That's right.
his
I saw
beau.
something about that.
Woo!
How about
And
that?
they looked like they were definitely enjoying each other after the night. He broke the internet, so they're both young anyway, so they're young and in love for now. We'll see how
Hey,
long
good
it
for him.
lasts, but
Good for him.
yeah. So maybe he'll be in the Dark Order soon. So the other big thing, speaking of fantastic matches, how about was it like 20 some minutes? MJF, Sammy Guevara. It sucks
Yeah.
that wasn't on a pay-per-view or we're going to see them face off again down the road, but that really proved to me what they both can do, and that showed what they can do on and just like they laid it all out. We had the tombstone from the second rope. We had Guevara flying past barricades. We had MJF really stepping up. So, I mean, I kind of am just this much, Greg, disappointed that was on a Dynamite episode. I get it because,
Right.
you're throwing it out there, and now we'll set up all these stipulations for Jericho to get his last match with MJF, which I think will write off Jericho because he's touring, with Fozzy pretty soon. So I think that's fine. You have some match that says Jericho has to leave or whatever, and then you write it back in. But have at it, Greg. Tell us your own thoughts on, like I said, that just set the tone for what AEW can be for the next, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was a good pot sweetener for what we're going to get when we get back to them being on the road. And this was the go home show pretty much, or the last home show before they go on the road.
Yes.
Because next week is live wherever they are at Road Rage or Miami, and then it's on the road for hopefully for good. They'll come back to Jacksonville here and there, but it's on the road and staying on the road. And so that match was a great way to put a stamp on this era of, wrestling without crowds and, the pandemic era. Fantastic match. Both of them just all out. Amazing match. And, nobody, looked bad in it. It took, some shenanigans for MJF to get the win. So Sammy doesn't lose anything. And, you got your hottest rivalry going on to close the show. And it's going to keep, fueling the next few weeks, the next few months. So loved it. And the whole show was, you can tell they really brought it. All the matches were really good except for that Britt Baker match. So hopefully Rebel's
Vicky
okay.
Guerrero in there. What do you expect? I mean,
yeah,
I didn't even know Vicky wanted to wrestle. That's why I was like, why is Vicky wrestle? Like, you can't get any other woman. Like, but
right. And Britt Baker made a perfect point where she apparently Vicky called in a favor to Tony Khan to, if you have any one thing, why is she asking for a match with Britt and Rebel when she could have asked for a title shot for a client or, so many other things. We don't want to see Vicky in the ring. I don't think Vicky wants to see Vicky in the ring. So the whole thing didn't make sense. And the match didn't make sense. And the match looked horrible. But aside from that, that was pretty much the only stain on the show. Everything else was pretty good.
Yeah.
Everybody's dying to get on the road.
It's like
You can see that energy manifest itself.
the last day of school energy. It felt, like
Right.
everybody's ready to be done, and then go enjoy now the time back on the road as much as you can. So let's get into Great American Bash, which will be on USA.
Well, wait, before you get to that though,
Oh, sorry.
the those last two words heard around the world with your boy JR.
Yeah. WWE Dynamite. Which
Did you
he's
catch
made
that
mistakes. Yeah, and I'm like,
Oh.
people on Twitter were blowing it up and saying everyone he's made mistakes before, dude. Like, it's JR. Like, it's not gonna be the last mistake he makes. So I just kind of was like,
That's
eh.
true,
is it? I get it, but and I still think it was weird, that little video package anyway. It's it's like it's like a death, it's like a tribute, like in memoriam type deal. And I don't,
right.
It's not like, I don't know, because what's going to suck is what ends up that they have to go back there at some point, and it's like, just what if they want to run shows there? It's like, I don't know. But anyways, I guess that's a way of writing off. They're like, we're not going back there no matter what. So, but yes, WWE Dynamite, because people joke last night, they go, tune into AEW SmackDown last night. So,
yeah, that blew me away.
One of these days,
but
all promote, and it's JR. He's a lonely guy, as
right.
you can see by the likes that he loves a lot of the women I've seen. Like, he'll be liking them a lot. So I'm sure he was upset by the Anna Jay picture. But anyways, so all right. Great American Bash time. Let's bring it up now. Boom. We got 4 matches to talk about. There you go. Tuesday, July 6th. It's going to be, kind of a good segue into our end of your July 4th weekend. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Singles match for the $1 Million Championship. If Cameron Grimes loses, he will be LA Knight's butler. So LA Knight is winning, Greg. That's what I say. What do you say?
Yeah, we've seen this movie before many times over in WWE with the loser becomes the butler. This goes all the way back to WCW with this little stipulation popping up, and it never goes good for the good guy. I'm loving this rivalry as it is with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. My own thinking was that this would be a way to reconsolidate the whole $1 Million legacy with him winning the championship and having $1 Million Man in his corner now. But as opposed to what they did before, splitting the two and having one guy with the actual man, the other guy with the belt. So you could put it back, put both pieces back together again with Grimes winning. But what, this whole thing was built off a comedy angle. So what could we get from having Cameron Grimes serving as LA Knight's butler could be amazing. So I see both ends of it. That being said, I don't see how many times that LA Knight would agree to defend the $1 Million Championship. So I see it as kind of like a one-time thing, which I'm going to say that Cameron Grimes will win. But I definitely did really going the other way and him having to serve as the butler would make for some great sketches.
So your official prediction is Cameron Grimes, though.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put my hat in the ring for Cameron Grimes.
Okay, and that's the thing too. I wonder, because I feel like the payoff would be Cameron Grimes winning at the takeover of SummerSlam weekend if they do one there. So the next month or so, you have Cameron Grimes as the butler, and then where who knows? Maybe they try to pull off NXT in Vegas too. Maybe there's a smaller arena they can play off there. So,
Right.
it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Then again, I don't know
And
when
they
you
have
can
the
do
Thomas and
NXT.
Mack Center right down the street where the Running Rebels play.
Is that what?
Uh,
Okay. I'm just
I've
trying
been
to
to a
think time
concert.
wise. Oh, you went to concert there?
Yeah, it's a small, intimate arena, probably 10,000 or so people. It'd be a perfect setting.
I just don't know what day they'll do it because if you have Saturday is SummerSlam, you're probably going to do Friday night SmackDown. I guess you could try to run it on that Tuesday night, maybe there. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with NXT that week. So next up, The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are defending their tag team titles against Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. I'm saying champions retain. I think what happens is Io Shirai and Zoe Stark fall apart, and I think we'll get a one-on-one kind of feud with them too. Because I think, you had Io Shirai say, "I respect you, but I don't like you," or whatever she said, something like that effect. So it's almost like this is a default team anyway. So there's no way they're going to stick together. So, and then you could still wait to save Io Shirai and Candice LeRae down the road because I think that is a money match as well. So, yeah, I'm going to say champions retain. Io Shirai, Zoe Stark have a mistake that happens, sets off their feud down, the next couple weeks. So, how about you, Greg? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Hi. Sorry.
For the same reasons with Ayo and Zori not really being on the same page. Um, I still can't buy Ember and Shotzi anymore. So it makes more sense that the champions keep it.
Yeah. All right, next up, MSK versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. You know what, Greg? I'm going to just pull the trigger because I love Thatcher and Ciampa too much. I'm going to say Ciampa and Thatcher get it. There's something, I think the crowd loves them. I know MSK is MSK, but I don't know if the crowd loves MSK as much as NXT thinks the crowd loves them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they need to almost kind of reset MSK. And I don't think you've bought into MSK as much either, correct?
Nope, I haven't been in on them since the beginning. I see what they're trying to do with them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just falling flat.
Missing.
They don't
Yeah.
they don't jump off the page. They don't jump out the screen. Nothing about them says special. And I know the announcers are trying to put them over as being a big deal, but I don't see it. I don't think the rest of the NXT universe is going to see it. They'll have their basic fans, but they don't strike me as being anything special. And I think when we get back in front of a crowd, that crowd's going to be a Ciampa Thatcher crowd too. And so, I'm with you. I'm much more on the Ciampa Thatcher bandwagon than I've ever been with MSK. So I hope the challengers win.
Even if you do a small run, like transitional type run for Thatcher and Ciampa, I think that's fine. So, yeah, I'm really going to be curious to see which way this goes. And finally, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. I'm calling all for Adam Cole, baby, because Adam Cole, it needs to be 1-to-1. We need the trifecta. We need the trilogy. Then Kyle O'Reilly overcomes all of it. And like I said, I think that needs to be a loser leaves NXT type match or loser, because I think Adam Cole needs to be at the main roster. So this is all Adam Cole in a straight up wrestling match, especially because he can play up. Hey, I beat you in a straight up wrestling match. So that's my call for the final, what should be the main event of the Great American Bash. And I want to give it like 20, 30 some minutes, like that last half hour, just let them go at it in the wrestling match. So,
Yep, I agree with you. It should be a good half-hour match, and those two can bring it easily. Um, I, I'm with you. Adam Cole should win, but I think he should stay in NXT. I don't like the idea of him going to the main roster. Just knowing what we know about what happens with these guys when they go up, they get that initial few minutes of steam, and then they become jobbers. Look at Keith Lee, look at Riddle, look at the latest batch of guys who've come up from NXT and how they've been squandered. I don't want that from Adam Cole. When down in NXT, having banger matches with everybody. There's a Gargano, reset that he could be doing. There's some new guys to coming up. Him against Bronson Reed would be amazing.
Well, we didn't even talk about Bronson Reed, though. He's heading up because he just lost that title, Greg. Do you think he's heading up?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's already wrestled some dark matches, so I think he's getting up soon. And we didn't bring that up because we didn't talk about NXT, but still, then they're going all in on Hit Row because, like we said, I thought Hit Row needed something, and now that they gave Swerve the North American title and Bronson Reed loses it, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where Bronson will do on the main roster. But I think he's up sooner rather than later too.
Yeah, Bronson Reed, I can definitely see it. He looks ready, and he fits more the mold of the guys who are ready to, make big waves on the main roster. He's got the size. He's, put in the work in NXT, and he's going to look good standing across from those main roster guys. I was a little surprised that he lost the North American Championship so soon after winning it. I get why they did it.
And now
we're
seeing why.
Looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think you just got to give everything to Hit Row. Give them all the titles. Let them run with it. So,
I'd say to that.
I don't know. I am curious if maybe they wait. Like, I feel like you could wait for Bronson Reed after the draft, like the draft time, but it almost feels like he's going to go after Money in the Bank. And you can do the double duty type deal like they've done. So, I'll be interested to see what they do with him. I'm excited. I think there's some good matches. Like we said, we're kind of mixed on LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. So we'll see which way that goes. And then did we have anything else? I think we're all in on the same as the rest. 3 out of the 4 were the same. So, you do wonder, it'll be a fun night. And I think you got all the storylines involved that you want. I do want to see what happens Karrion Kross soon, but we'll see where that goes. And, I think that's all we got today. Is there anything else you want? Is there anything else you want to catch up on, Greg, or any parting thoughts for us?
No, I look forward to the bash. You don't have to wait so long for it. It's right around the corner, and gonna have plenty of fat to chew next week. Look forward to seeing what how it goes for you tonight. It's your big broadcast debut. Let's go get it, man. And
we'll be live.
We're
going to be live here soon at 3 o'clock here Eastern Standard Time. So
I'm excited for you, man.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm getting my chops already. So, anyways.
Just don't
who knows?
Big time your boy when
you
become
a
TV star and everything.
There one of these days. Who knows? I will come visit you as a big time TV star in North Carolina. All right. Well, have a good rest of your day, Greg. Tune in if you can here at 3 o'clock. We'll see how this goes. I'm not nervous, but I'm anxious to kind of pull off what I can. Man. So we'll see. So
show up and show out, man.
Joining the chat. Thank you for Dan showing up for the chat, and we'll catch you guys next week here again. And I think is that Money in the No, not Money in the Bank yet. We still got a week or so for that, but we'll get another week with fans, and then we're on the way. So, all right, well, have a good rest of our day. Thank you for joining us, and talk to you guys later.